Do you think this is more for measures of drama rather than seriousness?
I think, Mavish, it is complete seriousness because this is the first time that the Governor Sindh has also resigned. Earlier, when the MQM parted ways with the government, they stepped away. They sat on the opposition benches for a while. They left the cabinet. So if you remember on January 1st, when they had protested against the increase in petrol prices, they hadn't left the treasury benches. Their ministers resigned from the cabinet. This time round, the Governor Sindh has resigned. They resigned from the Sindh Assembly government as well. So this is at all levels. This time round, I think it's very serious, and especially Altaf Hussein's statement that came through yesterday was a clear indicator of what was going to happen. Because Altaf Hussein's words were very strong. He said that the government had stabbed the MQM in the back. Now, that was a pretty aggressive statement that we have not seen in the past from Mr. Altaf Hussein. And this time round, I think that the MQM means business, and they are going to stay out of the government. I don't see a reconciliation at this point.
What do you think is going to happen next, though? What sort of issues can arise out of the situation? What do you think the PPP is going to do next?
Well, the PPP is already saying that they're going to try and bring the MQM back into its fold. I think Firdaus Ashgawam, the Information Minister, has already made a statement to that in that regard, as well as the fact that President Asif Ali Zardari is currently in London, and so he may very well try to meet with Altaf Hussein there. There were talks that he was going to try and meet with Altaf Hussein, but I think after the statement that came from Mr. Hussein yesterday and this very aggressive announcement by Dr Farooq Sattar today means that the MQM is in no mood to talk. Now, one of the problems that is going to come straight off from here is that when the MQM has left the government at the center, from the governorship as well as the provincial government, this could see an increase in violence in Karachi, which we have seen in the 90s. And my biggest fear and concern right now is that Karachi, which is already destabilized because of continued target killings, could see an increase in that kind of violence.
And Katrina, do you think the PPP's recent alliance with the PMLQ has anything to do with the MQM's decision at all?
I think the MQM has been restive for quite a while. We often speak privately with MQM leaders, and they were voicing their concerns, their reservations, their disgruntlement, if you'd like. And so this wasn't something that was wholly unexpected. But I think the Azad Kashmir election, the cancellation of the election in Karachi, as well as what Dr Farooq Sattar and other MQM leaders have indicated, that they were being pressurized to not contest a certain seat. I think that was what the MQM saw as the final straw that has broken the camel's back. Every party is now subtly and slowly gearing up for the elections whenever they're going to be held. The AJK elections, of course, were being seen as a litmus test of the popularity of the major political parties. The PPP has, of course, taken the majority of the seats, but the PMLN has made a strong showing, and this was their first time that they were contesting very heavily an AJK. So I think that the fact that they've taken, I think, 8 seats now is pretty strong indicator that the PMLN is not going to step back either. The interesting thing to see right now is going to be if the PMLN and the MQM are going to reconcile their differences. They've had a number of differences in the past, some very aggressive war of words between senior leaders of the parties. It remains now to be seen whether the opposition will try and now forge a grand alliance, as the People's Party has continually managed to maintain its coalition by smoothing over differences with parties whom they had really aggressively worked against. I mean, the PMLQ and the People's Party, in the wildest imagination, one had not conceived that that coalition would work. But the PPP has managed to pull that off. So it now remains to be seen if the PMLN and the MQM can work through their differences and forge an alliance for themselves as a grand opposition alliance.
Right.